Hey guys, welcome to Hair History of the 1920s. By the end of the 1910s, there was a new trend coming up that women were starting to cut their hair completely short. And this new hairstyle was called a bob. It is not the same thing that we call a bob nowadays. It was pretty much just a boy haircut with a shaved back and just extremely short hair on women. Now, as you may remember, there was a trend very similar to this right after the French Revolution in the 18th century, and back then it was a very short-lived trend, kind of a fad that just came and went very quickly. And many women were afraid that it would be the same case this time as well in the early 20s, late 10s. Many women were afraid to commit to cutting off their hair, pretty much as they are now. Whenever a short hair trend comes along, many women just don't want to commit to that. So the solution was to wear a wig. Wigs and faux bobs were worn to give the appearance of a modern short hairstyle without actually having to cut their own hair. So women would often, turn their hair underneath itself, kind of as we do nowadays with faux bobs. So in the beginning of the 20s, when not all women's hair was short yet, there was another trend first, and that was the parting. Now in the zeros and tens of this century, we saw the side parting for the first time, as I mentioned in last week's video, and this really takes flight in the 20s. In the early 20s, the parting is kind of the way for women to express themselves. It is, there's lots of freedom when it comes to partings, and the most crazy things are done. You have partings in the shapes of question marks, you have partings on all sides of the head, you even have your horizontal partings, and it was very fashionable to experiment with parting the hair. Now by 1924 it was pretty obvious that the bob was here to stay, and by that time nearly all women had committed to cutting off their hair. Maybe except for older ladies that weren't used to this, and they were also not recommended to cut their hair short because it was supposedly not as flattering on women of age. So as for the style of the bob, many things were permitted. You had all your different cuts, and for every cut there was a texture of hair, although it didn't really matter. This is pretty unique in history, but women were allowed to wear their own hair texture. So if you had straight hair, you could just wear it straight. Although if you did want that popular wave effect, there was a new technology available, and that was the electrical waving machine. Women would go to hair salons and sit with their hair in these huge giant curlers for hours to get their hair permanently curled. Now, as always throughout history, whenever an eccentric trend comes along, men and the church protest. And that happened very much in the 20s. Short hair was considered ungodly. Cutting women's hair short is forbidden by the Bible, so it was definitely considered something that very much displeased the Lord and was frowned down upon by certain people. And others that maybe had more secular views just thought that it was very unfeminine and unbecoming for ladies to wear their hair that short. But women just loved the freedom that came with short hair. You still hear that nowadays, that when women cut off their hair, it just feels, they feel light. It doesn't take as much time to style, and it's just a great feeling, apparently. So by the end of the 20s, there was kind of a compromise, and that was the bob that looks like long hair. So that's pretty much what I'm wearing right now. You wouldn't know if my hair is short now or if it's pulled back and long in the back, and that is exactly the effect they were going for. It was short, so you had all your freedom and you didn't have to worry about long hair, but it didn't look as boyish as the hairstyles in the beginning of the century. And when I say that it doesn't require a lot of upkeep, don't get me wrong. Hair in the 20s was extremely well kept. Every single hair had to be in place, and it was pretty much plastered down to the head with pomades and different kind of setting products. And women didn't generally do their hair at home. They went to a barber or a stylist to do it for them. And you'll see why when I do my tutorial at the end of the video. This is so hard to do. So by the end of the century, it is starting to become evident that the bob is slowly going out of style. And of course, barbers protest largely. They don't want to lose their jobs. You have your women going to the salon every couple of weeks now, and barbers were about to lose a lot of work. So they protested, and they tried to convince women to, keep cutting their hair short, but yeah, slowly but surely the bob is disappearing. But more on that next week in the 30s. First, let's get into the hair tutorial. So I'm going to show you how to finger wave your own hair, or an attempt at finger waving your own hair, because this is a pretty serious hairdressing technique that requires a lot of practice. So I tried my best. Let's get started. I'm going to start by making a very sharp parting on one side of my head. And then I'm going to separate out two front pieces, and these are the only pieces that I'm going to wave. I'm honestly not very good at this, so I don't want to wave my entire hair, so I'm just going to stick to the front. So I'm going to pull back the back of my hair for now, and begin by loading my hair up with mousse. And before the mousse has time to dry, I'm going to start finger waving it. So I'm going to take my comb, and I'm going to comb my hair upwards, then hold it down with a little clip. Then hold that clip down, bring my comb downwards, sharp down. Hold it down again, right there, and then bring my comb up again to create the wave. And then when my hair is up, I'm going to pin it down right there again with a clip or two. So then I'm going to repeat that process. Hold down my clip, bring my hair down sharply, hold it down there, bring it back up again and clip. So when I've done my waves, I'm going to take a setting spray and spritz my hair down, and then take these clips that are going to make a sharp edge on the top of my wave. So then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to turn around, and in the back I'm going to make a French roll. And this was something that was done by women that didn't want to cut their hair short but still wanted that modern short-haired look. So I'm just going to twist my hair around my hand and then kind of twist it a little bit tighter and pin it down with bobby pins right here. Okay, so now I'm going to take a hair dryer and try to set my finger waves. So I'm just going to dry out my hair until it's completely dry and all the setting products have set. And then I can remove my clips. So for my ends, I decided to coil those up on both sides of my head, again to kind of accommodate that short hair look. And then when you're done, you can just spray everything with a load of hairspray so that it will last all day. And there is your 1920s hairstyle done. Like I mentioned, this is one of the more technical, more difficult ones, but I hope you enjoyed the video anyway, guys, and thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more hair history videos, and I will see you next week in the 30s. Bye!